Okay. This is Tiffany Apan with Music's Underworld webzine and Entertainment's Underworld podcast. And I'm here with, state your name for the lovely people.
Bravely Macabre.
Okay, and you run Castle Blood, is that correct?
Yes, I do. This is coming into our 21st season now in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. And how did Castle Blood, well, first tell us a bit about the attraction and how, like, just for people who may not be
Sure.
familiar
Castle
with
Blood,
it.
we call it an adventure tour or a theatrical haunt because you won't go running as fast as you can to get scared with all the 16-year-olds from chainsaws.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But it is a theatrical event where you actually have to participate and do things as you go from room to room.
Mm-hmm.
We were written up in American Airlines magazine one time, and it said it was like playing Clue in the Addams Family house.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a guide, you get put into a group with other people. Sometimes you know them, sometimes you don't. Bring lots of people. It's more fun with your friends.
Oh, yeah.
And you go through and you're set on a task each night, and every year it changes. Actually, now these days we do holiday shows where we have a spooky Christmas show where it's the challenge is themed for that, or a spooky Valentine's show where it's themed for that. So it actually is a game. We still have all traditional scares and animations and all that sort of things as well to keep you on edge so you're not thinking smart when you're trying to do the game, right?
Yeah.
So it is a little bit different. It's definitely an acquired taste. You go through slowly, which means we don't do thousands a night, so you're not going to be cattle called just shove through. It really is a personal and interactive experience.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too, how it is very personal and, it's like you do feel like you really are like getting a tour through like an actual
Well, and
haunted
you've been there
house.
multiple times.
I
I'm sure
have,
you've
indeed,
seen,
yeah.
You've seen that depending on who your guide is, even
Yes.
it seems different.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a grumpy vampire as a guide, it's going to be different than if you have my little zombie maid who's a dingbat as a guide.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did the idea come about? And basically, what made you take this approach as opposed to just the traditional jump out and scare you
Well,
approach?
believe it or not, we started off like a lot of people going crazy on our front porch and front yard for Halloween for trick-or-treating. Well, my friends are all professional clowns, magicians, costume makers, and the first years we did it, it was a party for all my friends.
Right.
And if any of you have a friend that's a magician, you know they're never just going to shut up and hand a kid a piece of candy.
Right.
They're going to go, hey, look at this, there's nothing, oh, look, candy.
Yeah.
So it started being fun like that, and we turned into the cool house.
Right.
Our town at the time where we were only had 500 people in it, but we'd get 500 or 600 trick-or-treaters
Yeah.
within only like 2 years of doing this. And it was really small and no big deal, and for a while it wasn't even called Castle Blood. It was,
Right.
The 20 years of Castle
It was
Blood,
just the
great,
cool
but we were
house,
just
you
doing
know?
the cool house before
It's
that.
like-
Right, we did Weird Zombies, we did Pirates one year.
Right.
Stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
when we hit Castle Blood, it just, everything clicked.
Yes.
It clicked. We stayed with that. You still had to, as you would actually go from station to station and trick or treat when it was still tiny. So you'd go to the gypsy thing, and we had that fortune-telling fish gum stuff. Remember that old stuff? So that's what the gypsy would give you.
Yes.
Things like that. So it was a little thematic that way.
Yeah.
I think we did wax vampire fangs out of the coffin from one of the vampires, something like that. And then it just got so overwhelming. It's like, well, we should probably expand and fill up our
Yeah.
whole property and it's,
Yeah.
it's like a bad sitcom. It just kind of got out of hand and kept growing every year.
Yeah. Well, hey,
So-
if it works, it works.
Yep.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. But so basically, have you guys ever considered maybe doing more of like a jump out and scare thing, or are you just like happy with?
I've built those around the country because I do haunt consulting. I've actually worked on the first American haunts in China. So I build them. Even though I say chainsaws are stupid, which is one of our catchphrases.
I have a T-shirt that says that.
Yep,
so,
see,
yeah.
but I've probably bought 50 or 60 in my career, just not for
Yeah.
my own haunt, for all the haunts that I build, so
Yeah.
it's kind of funny.
Right.
We do try and pack in as many jump scares. This year you may have seen a little fewer animations, but it's because we just moved this past year
Yeah.
for 2012.
Right.
So even since you've been there, there's more stuff happening.
Oh, absolutely.
So now, like in the library, there's a little library scene. Well, now there's a
Yeah.
librarian that comes flying out at you, yelling at you to leave her books alone and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
A couple extra little air cannons hidden here and there. So yeah, by this Halloween it's going to be rock and rolling pretty hard.
Sweet, yeah. So I can't wait. And how have people reacted to the new location versus the old location?
Good and bad. We're not weather sensitive, so the customers all like that. We've been able, because we used to be half inside, half outside, a little more on the outside part. So they like the no weather problems, which also lets us be open year round.
Yes.
And we're able to do different scenes now that we're all inside. We can do parlors, we can do a little more Victorian-ish, but we still have all the rock and castle elements as well. Some people, on a beautiful autumn night, even myself and my actors, miss the fun chill of October outside.
Yeah.
You know? When it starts snowing, we don't miss it so much.
Right.
And neither do our customers.
Yeah.
So it's a little give and take.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So but like I'm sure, like you said, with the old location, I'm sure there were people who were, when it would snow, they'd be like out there freezing. So But yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like you give, like you said, give a little, take a little, and everything. And now you guys are doing events all year round.
That's right.
So like what? And I think that's what like really is adding to what's making you guys like a really unique location, because most haunted attractions, which I mean I enjoy, but they usually only like wait for the Halloween season and everything. Right. Whereas you guys are now doing a Christmas, a Valentine's show. Can you tell us a little bit?
Well,
about
the
that?
odd thing about our haunt is because of the game situation, there are big open areas in our sets.
Right.
Because your group will have to stand there and work on things and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Which means when we're not in regular production, there's room to do stuff. We've done Monster High birthday parties for little girls already, where it's not really scary.
Yeah.
They get a spooky magic show. They get a spiderweb cake that bleeds when you cut it, because one of my actors that you don't really realize this is actually one of these cake boss kind of guys. And then they take a non-scary, like our matinee tour through the castle and do the talisman game and all like that. We redressed for Christmas.
Right.
Christmas wasn't really a kiddie show. We just didn't use any of the scare stuff, but we didn't talk down or we didn't rewrite it as a kiddie show.
Right.
So the Christmas thing was very successful and very ridiculous, because it was all the monsters' first time at ever decorating Christmas for the holidays, so they didn't really understand it right. So it was hysterically weird, funny. It was like Rankin Bass did Mad Monster Party and Rudolph. Well, imagine combining them.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that. And we had all kinds of inside jokes like that, We had our Rudolph in his Hannibal Lecter mask because his girlfriend's name is Clarice.
Clarice, yeah.
Right, so we like to play Silence of the Reindeers at Christmas.
Nice.
So it's things like that. So it was fun. And Valentine's Day was cool because it was very cynical.
Yes.
And that was back to full scares. And you actually got to rip somebody's heart out of their chest because, we all know how that feels, but we don't know, a little Indiana Jones action. You get to actually do it, Stuff like that. Yeah. Professor Scry was in the lab trying to make love potion number 9, failing miserably, but he was working on it.
They play the song too,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you did have to hold your nose and close your eyes and take a drink.
And take a drink, yeah.
So we do that kind of stuff. And now, as we're talking now, in a couple of weeks, we're doing a craft show.
Nice.
Which is interesting and weird. It's free to the public to come. But it's going to be crafters and artisans each get one of our sets to set up. And again, we have that empty space in each scene.
Yeah.
So if you want to get spooky jewelry or you want to get paintings of your favorite monster, well, what more beautiful place to set it all up
Absolutely.
than in a haunt?
Yeah.
And we're trying to make it so that, you guys kind of have steampunkier stuff, well, we're going to put you in the lab.
Nice.
Stuff like that.
Oh, that is so
It should be
awesome.
interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm not charging very much for the vendors at all, and I'm charging nothing for the public to come. I just want to keep the doors open.
Exactly.
If I sell a few T-shirts, okay, I'm good.
Hey, yeah, and like and that keeps word of
Keeps
mouth
things
going,
going,
and people, and like I said, that I think that's what sets you guys apart from other haunted attractions. It's like you don't just wait for the Halloween season, anymore. Whereas, as much as I enjoy, those, all those other ones, it's like they tend to just wait more for the Halloween season to come. But so you guys have the craft show, and anything else you guys have coming
Well, we
up?
are doing different birthday parties. The castle is available to rent technically for video shoots. I have a couple of photographers lined up that are bringing their gothy girl models down to do shoots like that, which we've actually always done. Just most people didn't realize it.
Yeah,
and being outside, you couldn't use it all.
Right. Yeah.
So now we're really in a position where we can do that nicely.
That's cool.
And then in July, we actually have a Midsummer's Nightmare.
Oh, is that going to be like another attraction?
Yep, which will be a full scare tour again, but it'll all be themed on the Bard.
Nice.
You can end your summer of discontent by starting Halloween a couple months early.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Some of us do Halloween all year round.
And for everybody that came in last October, they'll get a kind of a preview on how much more we've added even before next October.
Oh, very cool.
Because we'll have 4 or 5 new animations and effects and things like that happening.
Awesome.
So, after 17 years in one location, it was actually quite a struggle to be open in time for 2012. We didn't even start until June.
Oh my gosh.
We opened September 29th.
Put it together really well. So well, that sounds like you guys have a lot going on and everything.
Always.
And I mean, hey, busy's always good. You know, never good to sit idle. But thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. Anytime.
Yeah, I'll definitely look forward to coming out for I'll come out for the July event. So
well,
I guess if you guys are doing that,
we appreciate that you love us.
I do. I love you guys.
Good. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.